Nobody expected Lil Durk to speak on this. For years, fans begged him for answers. Interviews, lives, lyrics, every word was decoded, every silence overanalyzed. But when Durk finally broke that silence, the truth hit harder than anyone could imagine. King Von's death wasn't just another tragedy in hip-hop. It was a turning point, a moment that split the streets, the industry, and the fans right down the middle. Everyone had their own version of what happened that night in Atlanta, the videos, the rumors, the blogs. But now, for the first time, Durk is opening up, not as a rapper, not as the ODF boss, but as a brother who lost more than the world will ever understand. He talks about loyalty, betrayal, and the pain that fame can't cover up. He talks about what really went down in those final hours and why he stayed silent all this time. Some say he's protecting someone. Others say he's haunted by guilt. But what Durk reveals now changes everything we thought we knew about that night. In this exclusive breakdown, we're going deep, past the headlines, past the tweets, straight into the heart of the ODF legacy. Because behind the chains, the money, and the fame, there's a story of two brothers who built an empire from the trenches and watched it fall apart in one moment of chaos. Was Von set up? Was Durk really there? And what's the truth behind those final words that never made it to the public until now? This isn't about clout. This isn't about beef. This is about pain, loyalty, and the kind of truth that scars you forever. So sit tight, because when Lil Durk finally exposes what really happened to King Von, it's not just a confession. It's a revelation that will shake the rap world to its core. The night of November 6th, 2020, Atlanta. What started as another club night for King Von turned into... Von had just released his debut album, Welcome to O'Block, and the energy around him was electric. The world finally recognized the storyteller from Chicago's South Side, the one who turned street tales into cinematic rap. He was on top of the world, but that world was built on pressure, pride, and pain. That night, Von's crew rolled deep to Monaco Hookah Lounge. Cameras flashed, engines roared, and somewhere in the crowd, fate was already waiting. Lil Durk, Von's brother in blood and bond, wasn't there physically, but his name, his image, his movement, ODF, was stamped on everyone present. For Durk, Von wasn't just another artist. He was family, someone who turned loyalty into legacy. As the night unfolded, tension in the parking lot started to rise. Security footage later showed Von stepping out of his SUV, energy high, bodyguards close. But in seconds, the mood changed. An altercation sparked, heated words, fast movement, chaos. And then shots rang out. The crowd scattered. Cars reversed. Screams filled the air. Within seconds, King Von, the rising king of drill, was lying on the pavement. When the news broke, social media exploded. Fans didn't want to believe it. Durk was live on Instagram earlier that night, smiling, laughing, unaware that his closest friend was taking his last breath miles away. The next morning, Durk's page went silent. No posts, no words, just silence. For weeks, people kept asking, why isn't Durk speaking? Why isn't he saying anything about Von's death? Rumors started spiraling. Some said Durk was hiding something. Others claimed he was broken beyond repair. But the truth, as Durk would later admit, was much darker. Behind the fame, Durk had already been fighting battles of his own. Legal cases, rivalries. In a later interview, Durk said quietly, "When Von died, a part of me died too. I couldn't even rap for months. Everything felt empty." Those words hit different when you realize what Von meant to him. They weren't just collaborators. They were childhood survivors who made it out of Chicago's deadliest blocks. They had promised each other, one makes it, we both make it. But in one night, that dream turned into a nightmare. In the streets, stories started circulating, people pointing fingers, dissecting footage frame by frame. Some said it was a setup. Others said it was just bad timing. Wrong place, wrong second. But the streets don't care about logic. They care about loyalty. And when loyalty gets questioned, everything burns. Durk's silence became louder than any statement. Fans started noticing subtle things, cryptic lyrics, Instagram captions, changes in his tone. In one verse, he rapped, "You wasn't there when Vaughn got hit. I felt that in my soul." It wasn't just a bar. It was pain coded in rhythm. Months later, Durk began to resurface. He dropped the voice, and suddenly fans heard something different. Emotion, grief, confession. The album wasn't just music, it was therapy. Every track sounded like a conversation with Vaughn, from Backdoor to Still Trappin'. But there was one song that made fans pause. Death Ain't Easy. Durk's tone cracked when he said, "I lost my dog, I lost my mind, no lie, I'm really gone." It was raw, unfiltered honesty. And still, he never directly said what happened that night. Never pointed a finger. Never cleared the air. Until recently, in a new interview, Durk finally spoke words fans had waited years to hear. He said quietly, "People don't know the half of it. What really happened that night wasn't how the internet made it look." Those words changed everything. Because for the first time, Durk wasn't rapping or tweeting. He was confessing. He talked about conversations the two had hours before the shooting. How Vaughn told him he felt energy shifting. How both were tired of the fake love in the industry. And how that night, Vaughn was supposed to leave early, but he stayed back. One decision, one moment, one life lost. Durk admitted he replayed that night in his head every day. He said, "If I was there, maybe it would have gone different, or maybe we both would have been gone." That line hit fans hard, because for the first time, Durk revealed the survivor's guilt that's haunted him for years. And that's when people started realizing this wasn't about fame or clout anymore. This was about loss, silence, and a truth too heavy to carry alone. After King Von's death, the rap world didn't just lose an artist, it lost a symbol. Vaughn was supposed to be the bridge between the streets and the charts, the one who made it out but never forgot where he came from. But when he died, that bridge collapsed and the streets went silent. For Lil Durk, the silence was personal. Behind closed doors, his team said he barely spoke. He turned his phone off, locked himself in the studio, and spent nights staring at old videos. Him and Vaughn laughing, recording, celebrating. What fans didn't see was the guilt that came with every memory. In one unreleased clip, Durk is seen saying softly to his engineer, "Man, I told bro don't go out that night. I had a bad feeling." That sentence would haunt him, because in Durk's world, instincts save lives, and ignoring them can cost everything. Meanwhile, fans kept demanding answers. The blogs were filled with conspiracy theories. Who started the fight? Who fired first? Why did it escalate so fast? Every camera angle became a clue. Every reaction became a theory. And through it all, Durk stayed quiet. Until one day, a line from his song, "They killed my twin and I ain't see it." That's what hurt me the most. It was more than pain. It was truth wrapped in code. Fans began realizing Durk wasn't avoiding the topic. He was speaking through music because that was the only place he felt safe. But still, there was more to the story. In early 2023, Durk went live on Instagram, calm but serious. His words were slow, deliberate. "Y'all keep asking what happened to Vaughn. The truth is, too many people switched up. Too many people played both sides." Those few sentences sent shockwaves through the community. Because both sides wasn't just about the streets, it was about people inside Vaughn's own circle. Durk didn't name names, but fans started connecting dots. Certain people who were close to Vaughn started distancing themselves after his death. Some posted cryptic captions. Others went silent altogether. The internet did what it always does. It turned grief into investigation. But behind the speculation, there was a simple truth Durk was trying to share. Loyalty is rare, even rarer when money and fame get involved. Durk talked about how Vaughn started noticing fake energy months before the shooting. In a last phone call, Vaughn reportedly told him, "I feel like everybody loved me for what I got, not who I am." Those words hit Durk harder than anything else. Because in that moment, Vaughn wasn't talking like a rapper. He was talking like a brother who could sense his time was running short. After Vaughn's death, Durk's world shifted completely. He stopped partying, stopped smiling. He told his crew, "We moving different now. Ain't no more slipping." From that day, Durk transformed from artist to survivor. Every verse, every post, every video became layered with coded messages. tributes to Vaughn, warnings to enemies, and reminders to fans that he hadn't forgotten. When he released 7220, the energy was different. Gone was the flashy tone. Durk spoke about being watched, being tested, and losing more people than he could count. He said, "Everybody screaming loyalty, but loyalty get you killed where we from." And that's when fans started piecing it together. Maybe the truth wasn't about who pulled the trigger, but why Vaughn was there in the first place. Durk hinted that Vaughn wasn't supposed to be at that club. His team had another event lined up, but plans changed last minute. Someone convinced him to stop by. That someone became one of the biggest question marks in this story. In the same interview, Durk said quietly, "All I'ma say is, not everybody that smile with you real. Some of them just waiting on your fall." That statement broke the internet, because fans knew Durk doesn't talk unless it means something. From that point on, everything became clear. Durk wasn't holding back out of fear. He was holding back because he was protecting Vaughn's legacy and maybe even protecting people who didn't deserve it. He once said in a lyric, "I ain't never speak on Vaughn cause real ones know the pain." It's not that he didn't want to explain. It's that words couldn't fix what was already gone. As the documentary tone deepens, one thing becomes obvious. Lil Durk didn't expose the truth for fame or headlines. He did it because after years of silence, the weight finally broke him. He wanted fans to understand what loyalty really costs, and what happens when the streets forget that loyalty has limits. Durk ended that same live with a chilling line that still echoes online. "If you knew what I knew, you wouldn't ask me no more questions about Vaughn." That was the moment fans realized. Durk wasn't just mourning a friend. He was carrying a secret. For years, fans saw only the family as a brotherhood, a crew built from the mud, bound by loyalty. To outsiders, OEF looked untouchable. King Vaughn and Lil Durk moving as one. Unstoppable on charts and in streets. But behind that image was pressure no camera ever caught. The closer Vaughn got to fame, the more people started orbiting him. New faces, new money, new motives. Everyone wanted a piece, but not everyone had his back. Lil Durk saw it happening before Vaughn did. He'd tell him, "Everybody smiling in your face ain't your homie, bro. Some of them here for the benefits." But Vaughn was loyal to a fault. He still moved with the same people he came up with. To him, changing your circle meant changing your heart. Weeks before that tragic night, Durk and Vaughn reportedly argued. Not about money or music, about trust. Durk wanted Vaughn to slow down, to move smarter. Vaughn, on the other hand, hated feeling controlled. He'd been through too much to let anyone tell him how to live. Durk later admitted in an interview, "It wasn't beef, it was brother talk. I was just trying to keep him out of harm's way." But the streets have a way of twisting brotherhood into competition. Once Vaughn started shining, certain people in the industry began to whisper. Some saw him as Durk's shadow. Others tried to pit them against each other. Subtle comments, fake rumors, comparisons. Who's really the voice of the streets? Durk or Vaughn? Those words became poison. Durk brushed it off in public, but deep down, he knew what those narratives could do. In Chicago, jealousy kills faster than bullets. He told his manager, "They gonna try to turn us against each other. I can feel it." And he wasn't wrong. After Vaughn's death, Durk learned details that broke him. According to people close to the camp, there were voices around Vaughn that pushed him toward danger that night. Voices that hyped up old street issues, that turned pride into impulse. Vaughn didn't go looking for trouble, but trouble found him, disguised as loyalty. Durk never confirmed names, but he hinted that some people inside the circle knew more than they let on. In one lyric he rapped, "They say love kills slow, but fake love kill quicker." That line wasn't just poetic, it was personal. He started distancing himself from certain faces. Fans noticed people missing from videos, posts, even OEF events. One of Durk's close affiliates said later, after Vaughn, Durk moved like a ghost. He didn't trust nobody. He'd say, "Everybody smile in your face till it's time to ride." At that point, Durk's pain became paranoia, and that paranoia became power. He stopped hanging around large crowds, rarely partied, and focused only on family and music. The streets took Vaughn. Durk wasn't going to let them take him too. Still, the guilt never left. In one of his most emotional interviews, Durk said, I replay that night every day. Like if I would have told him, don't go, if I would have called again. You never think it's the last time until it is. That sentence showed fans the truth no lyric could hide, survivor's guilt. And that's when Durk started exposing the real story, piece by piece. He talked about the warning signs, the way Vaughn had been feeling off weeks before. He mentioned how Vaughn told him, I feel like I'm being watched everywhere I go. Durk didn't know what to say then. Now, those words echo in his mind like a prophecy. When Vaughn died, Durk said it wasn't just an attack. It was a message. A message from the streets that no one is untouchable, no matter how high you climb. He said, they kill my brother to break me. But I ain't break, I built from the pain. That line defines Durk's transformation, from survivor to storyteller. Because instead of lashing out, he started exposing the system. How fame magnifies danger, how loyalty gets weaponized, how the same city that made you can also bury you. Fans started to see the full picture. Vaughn's death wasn't random. It was the result of energy that had been building for years. Rivalries, street politics, and the curse of success. Durk's message became clear. It wasn't about who pulled the trigger. It was about the environment that loaded the gun. That's the kind of truth people aren't ready for. Durk didn't name anyone, not because he was scared, but because he understood the code. He wasn't here to start another war. He was here to warn the next generation. He said in one line, don't let the streets trick you into dying for an image. That's when fans realized Lil Durk wasn't exposing others. He was exposing the system itself. The more he spoke, the heavier it got. The truth wasn't about a single night. It was about a lifetime of choices that led to that night. And when Durk finally said, I know who was real and who wasn't, God saw everything. It wasn't anger anymore. It was closure. It's the small things that haunt you the most. The last message, the last phone call, the words you didn't realize were the last ones you'd ever hear. For Lil Durk, that moment came just hours before everything changed. In one of his most emotional interviews, Durk finally spoke about that night. His voice was quiet, not angry, not sad, just tired. He said, the last thing Vaughn told me wasn't about music or money. He told me, bro, don't let nobody change you. Stay solid. Those were King Vaughn's last words to him. Simple but heavy. And after that call, everything spiraled. Durk said Vaughn sounded normal that night. Laughing, talking about dropping new visuals, even planning their next ODF tour. There was no warning, no hint of danger. But beneath the laughter, Durk said he could feel something. You ever get that feeling like somebody saying goodbye without saying it? The studio went silent when he said that. Because that was the first time Durk admitted he felt something was off. He even tried calling Vaughn again later that night, but it went straight to voicemail. Minutes later, his phone started blowing up. Missed calls, texts, news updates. Phone shut, phone down. Durk froze. He said he stared at the phone like it wasn't real, like maybe it was another rumor, another internet lie. But when the call came from one of his day one homies, his world stopped. They got Vaughn, bro. He gone. Durk said he dropped the phone and just sat there in silence. The room felt cold. He didn't cry. He couldn't. His mind couldn't process it yet. He went live on Instagram the next day, but didn't say a word. He just stared in the camera, eyes empty. Fans flooded the chat, typing stay strong, rest in peace Vaughn, we love you Durk. But he wasn't reading. He wasn't even there mentally. For months, Durk refused to speak on it. He told his team, if I talk about it, I'm gonna lose it. Instead, he started writing. Studio lights low, voice cracking, tears falling between takes. That's how the voice was born. Every lyric became a piece of his grief. Every song, a conversation with Vaughn. In Backdoor, he said, you left your gun up in the car. You slipped up. You ain't seen that. Fans thought it was just another street bar. But when Durk explained it later, he said it was his way of talking to Vaughn about regret, about guilt, about wishing he could have done more. But the most emotional track came months later. Did SH*T to me. He said, I lost Vaughn. I lost my heart. Now I'm trying to find peace. That line broke fans worldwide. Because it wasn't just pain, it was confession. Durk admitted he talks to Vaughn in his dreams. He said sometimes Vaughn appears laughing, sometimes silent. But every time, Durk wakes up before he can say goodbye. In one emotional moment, Durk told a story that no one had ever heard before. A few days after Vaughn's funeral, Durk visited the grave alone. No security, no cameras, just him and the cold air. He said he sat there for hours and said, "You told me don't let nobody change me. I'm still that same Durk. But bro, it's hard." Fans who heard that clip said it felt like closure, but it wasn't. Because every time Durk tries to move forward, something reminds him of what he lost. A song, a photo, a crowd chanting Vaughn. Durk said, "It's like the world won't let me heal, but maybe I don't want to heal. Maybe keeping the pain keeps him alive." Those words hit differently, because in a way, Vaughn never really left. He just became part of Durk's purpose. After that, Durk started dedicating every success to Vaughn. Every plaque, every sold-out show, every award. He'd point to the sky and say, "For Vaughn." And in that quiet pain, you can hear a new version of Durk emerging. Wiser, colder, sharper. The kid from Englewood who lost everything, but still found a way to speak for those who couldn't. Now, when fans ask why Durk finally decided to speak after years of silence, he answers simply, "Because I couldn't hold it in no more." The truth got to come out one way or another. That truth wasn't about names or blame. It was about closure. About finally letting the world know what those final words meant and how they changed him forever. Because once Vaughn said, "Don't let nobody change you," Durk made it his life's code. That's why he moves the way he moves. Why his music sounds different. Why his energy feels more guarded, more focused. He's not just a voice anymore. He's the memory, carrying two hearts in one chest. And as he once said, "I don't need to say long speeches. Just know everything I do, Vaughn with me." But there's one last truth Durk never told publicly. What he found out after Vaughn's death. Something that changed how he looked at everyone around him, even people he once called family. The truth doesn't stay buried forever. It waits. And when it finally comes out, it doesn't whisper. It roars. For Lil Durk, that roar came almost 2 years after King Vaughn's death. By then, Durk had rebuilt himself, dropped platinum albums, toured the world, made peace with his pain. But deep inside, there was something still eating at him, something he never said publicly. In a rare late-night live stream, fans saw a different side of Durk. No flashy chains, no entourage, just him, hoodie up, eyes heavy. He said quietly, "I ain't gonna lie, when Vaughn died, I found out some things that broke me." The chat froze. Thousands of comments flooded in. "What you mean? Who betrayed you? Say it, Durk." He didn't drop names, but his tone said it all. Durk revealed that after Vaughn's death, certain people he thought were family stopped calling. Others started moving strange, doing interviews, clout-chasing off Vaughn's name, pretending they were closer to him than they really were. He said, people were showing fake love, posting him like they cared, but they was nowhere when it mattered. That realization hit Durk hard, because for him, loyalty wasn't about fame, it was about presence. Who stayed when the cameras turned off? Who cried when nobody was watching? As the live continued, Durk dropped the line that sent Rap Shock fans into frenzy. "I got proof that some of the people around Vaughn played both sides. That's why I cut everybody off." Those words became headlines across social media within hours. And on Rap Shock, we broke it down, frame by frame, lyric by lyric. Because for the first time, Durk wasn't speaking in riddles. He was confirming what the streets had whispered for years, betrayal from within. Vaughn didn't just fall victim to a rival. He fell victim to trust. Durk said after the tragedy, he started reviewing footage, messages, and conversations from the days leading up to that night. What he found shattered him. Certain people who were supposed to protect Vaughn were arguing about money, attention, and status. He said, it wasn't no setup like people think. It was energy, greedy energy, that jealousy that don't got no face. That's when he realized the streets don't kill you for what you did. They kill you for what you represent. Durk explained, "Famba Shangji." He was getting too big. When you glow too hard, you expose shadows. Those shadows were the fake friends, the opportunists, the ones who smiled in photos but prayed behind his back. And Durk made one promise that night: to never let OTF fall to that same poison again. He started moving strategic, smaller circle, no random features, no outsiders. His whole image changed, quieter, more spiritual, more focused. Because now, every decision carried Vaughn's ghost. Durk told fans, "I seen people act like they love Vaughn, but they never even called his mama. That's when I knew this game full of actors." That moment broke millions of hearts, because it wasn't just about Vaughn anymore. It was about every artist who died surrounded by fake loyalty. Rap Shock analyzed that live in depth, and one thing became clear: Durk wasn't chasing attention. He was purging his soul. You could hear it in his pauses, see it in his eyes. He wasn't angry anymore, just numb. Later, in a studio vlog, Durk dropped one last bombshell. He said, "I found out who told Vaughn to go there that night. And when I did, I cut him off. No warning, no talk. Just gone." Fans went wild, trying to decode who it was. But Durk never said a name, because for him, exposing them publicly wasn't justice. His justice was success, staying alive, carrying Vaughn's name farther than the streets ever thought possible. In his later performances, Durk started ending every show with a quiet tribute. No flashy graphics, no long speech. Just a single phrase flashing on the screen: "Long live King Vaughn." And the crowd would chant it until the lights went out. Durk once said in an interview, "The truth ain't something you post, it's something you live with." And that's exactly what he's been doing ever since. Living with the truth, carrying it like a tattoo that never fades. Because at the end of the day, Lil Durk didn't just lose a brother. He lost a piece of himself. And he's been fighting to keep that piece alive through every song, every lyric, every move. And as Rap Shock always says, in this game, truth hits harder than bullets. And when Durk finally exposed his truth, it didn't just shake fans, it shook the entire rap world. And that right there is the truth Durk couldn't hide anymore. The truth that shook the whole game and left fans questioning everything they thought they knew about King Vaughn's death. But remember, this is just the beginning. Because here on Rap Shock, we don't follow the drama, we break it down. Every lyric, every emotion, every truth they try to bury, we bring it to light. If you've been rocking with us this far, then you already know what time it is. Collision, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on the bell notifications so you never miss when Rap Shock drops the next explosive story. Thaw balloon and tell us in the comments. What do you think Lil Durk really meant when he said, "I found out who told Vaughn to go there"? Your voice matters because every theory, every question, every emotion builds the story we tell next. So stay locked in. More truth, more pain, more power. Only on Rap Shock, where real stories hit harder than any beat. Because out here, the mic never lies.